Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back through daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Quant Network, or QNT, and I have quite a bit of things to talk about, so sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I just want to ask if you guys could please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely, and I do greatly appreciate it. It takes 2 seconds, and it does help so much. So let's just jump into it. Let's talk about things. Let's refresh. So we are currently up about 1.3%. We're going to be addressing a little bit of things, from Bitcoin to QNT, pretty much addressing a little bit of some TA. Nothing too crazy on it. I'm not going to go in depth on it. But overall, when we're talking about the market right now, a lot of altcoins are turning green across the board. I'm waiting more so for tomorrow. We always usually see a little bit of green on the weekends, and then kind of go into the Sunday weekly close. It's a little bit bullish, and then of course Monday is pretty much the key sign to watch for. So I am more so watching for the 19th, the 20th, and pretty much kind of watching, how the indices close or open tomorrow, or on Monday, not so much tomorrow, but tomorrow for the weekly candle close. And of course, this all goes hand in hand with QNT, and where pretty much QNT will sort of go. Now, of course, we do see here QNT's down here at about 0.8% up, nothing too crazy, realistically speaking. But things are still looking pretty good. We are still holding the pretty much nice price action that we just recently seen. Of course, it's not the best price action, as you guys do see. We still have to wait to break out of this sort of channel here. I'm waiting more so for about $206 to really kind of be targeted. Once we do kind of break out of that, I do suspect that that will pretty much be very bullish for us. Now, of course, you kind of do see the RSI down there. It's kind of coiling up, as well as the USD price chart. It's all kind of coiling for the next major move. In my opinion, I'm just waiting for that validation move in terms of price. So, right now, I'm really kind of just watching Bitcoin and a lot of, the Bitcoin dominance charts. But right now I am watching the QNT Bitcoin chart as well, because this is showing some signs of strength. It's not the best signs of strength, but it is still a fairly good point to watch for. Now, of course, I'm going to use the horizontal line from up here to really kind of show you where we could have essentially bottomed out on in terms of the Bitcoin chart, which is down here at about 3,534 sats, and we pretty much see us kind of just coiling up from there. It is resistance going all the way back to around August, so I'm really hoping this kind of holds and doesn't invalidate a push upward, because if we do go down from here on QNT in terms of even the USD pair for a better sort of price action move, we're looking more so at it like $100 being tested down here. So I'm hoping that this pretty much breaks us up into the relief point, well above $220 plus. So that is what I'm waiting for, to be validated or invalidated on QNT. Of course, in terms of Bitcoin, when we're talking more so about Bitcoin, I'm just really kind of focused on Bitcoin dominance here. As you guys do see, it's fairly bearish, which is still fairly bullish for us. But I do want this to kind of have an impulse back up, as weird as it sounds. I know it sounds kind of crazy for a lot of people, but I want Bitcoin dominance to actually go back up while Bitcoin's price goes for one last major run, which will take us into Q1 and possibly even Q2 of 2022, which will obviously allow QNT to run during that time as well. And of course, that's pretty much the time where you really want to pay attention to a lot of altcoins, because that's pretty much where alt season is going to really kind of take place and of course end. So pay close attention to that. Now, I do want to talk to you guys about some stuff that is happening for 2022. Actually, in terms of the lengthening cycle, which I have been advert about, and I've been talking to you guys about it for quite some time. We look more so on Quant's website, and shout out to QNT Investor here. But we do see here plans for 2022. Next year promises to be just as busy as 2021. We have exciting plans that I'm looking forward to sharing with you. They include broadening our suite of solutions, bolstering our product and network layers, and forging some new partnerships with enormous potential. Now, of course, in my mind, there is quite a bit to really kind of focus on here in terms of, first off, really kind of updating their, entire, network, pretty much, fostering in new partnerships as well that are pretty much enormous. I don't know. I mean, we've seen some big names join the QNT team already. So, I'm really looking forward to seeing some of these names that do get announced. I could just imagine what those, names are. I mean, Sia, in my opinion, first off, is probably one of the main ones that I've been so, bullish about. I know it's an older partnership, but still, it's one that I just cannot look past because this is such a massive partnership. This is the private blockchain for financial institutions, corporates, and the public administration. This is essentially, those private networks that we've been talking about for banks and financial institutions. Now, of course, I do suspect that this is going to be something that kind of unfolds into a massive network that will pretty much connect to pretty much every other DLT through, of course, you've guessed it, QNT. Now, with this, they are mentioning R3 as well. Corda is mentioned here with, you do see R3 here. But I really want to focus on the idea that this is 170,000 kilometers and 580 network nodes. So, this is a pretty big partnership. We've talked about this, closely. Transparency, confidentiality, and security is their key, focus points, optimization of cost and investments, and of course, possible areas of use. We could pretty much see that down here. Automated checking of agreements and contracts, smart contracts, management of banking, financial and insurance, insurance services, mortgages, insurance policies or credit risk analysis, management of digital identities as well. With all of this, I've always talked about tokenization and digitization taking over at a rapid pace. This will essentially be at the forefront of all of that and how all of this will essentially work. If you do see the advantages down there, you can pretty much read more so about that, how this pretty much bleeds into everyday life and why it would, pretty much bleed into everyday life. There's no single point of failure and stuff like that. So, this is going to get very interesting very fast. And SIA is probably one of the biggest announcements that I've ever seen from QNT or any sort of blockchain out there, or just in terms of any sort of crypto asset in general. But of course, we did see Oracle, which you could pretty much kind of weigh which one is more bullish. It's hard to say the least. But yeah, I'm very excited for, the future for QNT. And of course, we do see here, great highlighting of the LCX and partnership with QNT seems to be very important. 2022 will be amazing for both companies. And we do see here, our belief in the power of central bank digital currencies was also the drive behind our partnership with regulated, trading platform LCX announced in April. By collaborating on research and development and integrating our respective technologies, we expect to make significant strides towards the implementation and settlement of CBDCs. So, I've talked to you guys about LCX. I've discussed how big LCX essentially will become. I think, LCX is a huge asset. But of course, with all of this, it goes hand in hand with, first off, a securities exchange, pretty much being able to, I would say when we're talking about tokenization, I think tokenization of securities is pretty big and allowing for securities to be traded similar to, pretty much anything else. I think that that's huge. We're talking more so about tokenization of the stock exchange, stock markets in general. We go all the way back, to even, I believe it's, I want to say it's LCX actually, or no, AOBT. So it's Alliance Block that has the partnership with the London Stock Exchange. Stuff like that is really key to really focus on because that is going to foster us into the days of pretty much the stock markets being tokenized and digitized as well. So, I think that this is one of the many main focus points for QNT as well. I think that this is a huge, partnership as well, and I've discussed why LCX will win long term. So definitely focus on LCX as well. And like I said, with everything that's happening with CBDCs, I think that LCX definitely will play a big role with that, and then we even see them, pretty much saying that as well. So pay attention. And then of course we do see our Quant probably has them all in the bag, to be honest. The disinterest from the market in general is a good sign. Now, what he pretty much means by this is all the banks. Like I said, SIA having 580 banks under its belt, that is enormous. So when we're talking about all of these other banks, yeah, they most likely have them all connected to one. Even if we're looking at Nexi, so as you guys do know, Nexi, and I forgot the company that they just partnered with yesterday, but they essentially are working with QNT as well. QNT is going to be leveraged for both of their technologies. Number one in acquiring for number of merchants. Number one in processing the number of payment cards managed and total transaction value processed. Number one in annual investments in technology and innovation. Their purpose. Nexi at glance. You could pretty much see how big this actually is. This is ridiculous to say the least. And you can pretty much see All right, so yeah, it was Nexi and Nets. So yeah, they joined forces to create the European paytech leader. I mean, realistically, when you're talking more so about what's going to be happening from all this, it's really kind of building out those massive solutions for these major banks and financial institutions. And this goes all the way back to like 1939. This company. So these are huge names in the game. And when we're talking more so about their business, what they are for, we could pretty much see this. They offer banks, small and medium-sized enterprises or SMEs, which I've discussed how big they are as well. It's like, trillions of dollars. Large international companies, institutions, and public administrations, a full range of innovative solutions for digital payment and physical and remote payments acceptance. When we're talking more so about e-commerce and all of this, we're talking pretty much all of the money realistically. But look at how many merchants. Number one merchant acquirer, 2.4 million merchants. Number one card processor, 160 million cards. And of course, although closing of Nexi/SIA transaction has not occurred, data consider the post-Nexi/SIA transaction scenario for more information. And then, of course, you can pretty much look into this. So with all of this in mind, everything will be connected. And there's only one real asset that comes to mind when all of this will be connected, and that's QNT. Okay, you really can't discuss how big XRP is going to be or any other DLT technology is going to be without, of course, mentioning QNT. I've always said this. Even in terms of, QNT, when we look at the interoperability layer, yeah, I mean, this is going to be an umbrella for existing and future standards. Everything in my mind will be under the QNT umbrella. This is going to pretty much move trillions of dollars. I know when we look at Bitcoin being worth $1 trillion in market cap, possibly even $2 trillion in market cap at some point in time, that's pretty big, but how much is QNT going to be in terms of its market cap when it's moving trillions of dollars, a day? Because we even look at Swift, moving $5 trillion a day. We look at, other networks moving a ton of cash a day as well. The transactions that will flow over QNT in general is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Honestly, it's unfathomable to understand how much money will actually move over these networks anyways. Nobody really knows how much money will actually move, but, even in this scenario, so shout out to San NL11 here, but he's talking more so about the global trade finance market. They covered a value of approximately $5.2 trillion. What do API gateways and the International Chamber of Commerce have in common? If only a certain company developed the first DLT API gateway and advises the ICC. Here you guys have it. Again, API gateways from that same, breakdown of the umbrella, if you will, the umbrella of the interoperability layer. And of course, when we're talking about all of this, looking forward to the UN ICC workshop today, talking about how DLT can be an enabler of cross-border trade, payments, and interoperable CBDCs. The ICC, QNT, the dots are connected, right? So just imagine how big this actually is going to be. That's why I try to talk to you guys about it all the time, because QNT's value is unrealized right now. Okay? Nobody knows just how big this is going to be, because nobody knows how big interoperability is going to be. Okay, interoperability isn't just for payments. It isn't just for trade, finance, and all of these many markets. Trust me, that's trillions of dollars in the bank easily. But also look at what else interoperability could do. We even look back at, the Air Force, right? Allies may join experiments to solve interoperability issues with JADC2. This is pretty much trying to, communicate with other countries and stuff like that through technology as well. Again, interoperability is going to solve so many issues. Now, of course, there's other assets in this space that could do interoperability with technologies like this, so QNT is not the only one. But in terms of, interoperability with things like this, yeah, QNT is the only one that has those API gateways that could easily plug and play for these many financial giants. So, in my mind, QNT right now, if we scroll down and find it again, so it's at like number 61, there we go. At number 61, at a $2.2 billion market cap, it's probably one of the most undervalued gems in this space. And a lot of people think that, like, you know, people on Twitter or people on YouTube shill QNT so that people buy their bags. Honestly, that's not even the case. Like, this is, to me, an untradeable asset. This is an asset that I could feel confident holding for 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road and just see it kind of blossom into this massive asset. Because I understand that at $200, okay, think about how fast Bitcoin moved when people caught on to what Bitcoin really kind of was. You know, it's a network that the more and more people who hold it, buy it, the more that the network gets used, the higher the price goes. You know, for QNT, that's not how it works, right? Just go back to 2013 for Bitcoin when it was $129. People probably thought, yeah, people are just shilling this to, you know, sell on everybody. And then, of course, the bear market came, and then people were like, yeah, this is going nowhere. All of a sudden, boom, you know, it hits 20K. Like, is QNT at 20K going to be the eye-opener for a lot of individuals, or is it going to be $200, okay? But overall, where does the value for QNT really lie? It just lies within usability. And right now, it's really providing that usability for massive financial and banking giants, okay? SIA should give you enough of that insight to understand how big this is going to be. Oracle itself should give you guys an idea on how big QNT is going to be. So with that in mind, I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.